Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse this brief interruption, but I have to tell you about a very cool and interactive way that you can experience the show. I'm talking about how you can chime in on the live show broadcast at your convenience using the Buy Me a Coffee app on your phone. You might be asking, what the heck is Buy Me a Coffee? Well, it's a fun and easy way that you can tip the show during our live broadcast or even later at buymeacoffee.com/dangerousinfopodcast. I also have that link listed down below in the description. Now get this, when you see the Buy Me a Coffee banner show up on the screen when you're watching the show, it's got the logo and all that, that is the time when you can send your tip. But here's the fun part. It happens instantaneously and your message will just pop up on the screen along with a little audio message that I have preloaded. It might be a rooster crowing, a crazy dog bark, or a hilarious audio clip that I ended up finding along the way. So your interaction will hit us by surprise, and you, along with the other live viewers, will enjoy a laugh by what you just did. And if that isn't enough, I just learned that on the audio playback on the screen in your car, you will also get a fun alert scrolling across your radio. Yeah, that's crazy. But be careful driving is what I'm saying. All right, now let's get you back to the show, and I look forward to seeing your surprise pop up unexpectedly so you can scare Outcast and make us laugh. All right, you guys, stay dangerous by hitting us with the most interactive message. Now let's get back to the show.
Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called Baal, the ancient Canaanite deity which people would sacrifice their children to. A victim's diary shows that she was impregnated multiple times and forced to give birth for Ghislaine and Epstein. Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish-American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
This program is not intended to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any disease. Join Jesse, James, and Outcast as they dial into the truth so you can keep your head on a swivel and guard your heart from the bogus fear they're trying to throw at us every day. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast. Dangerous Info Podcast.
All right, everybody. It is Monday night, February 16th, 2026. Welcome to the show. It is the spiritual and the cultural battle of our lives tonight, where truth is dangerous and information is a weapon. That's right, you guys. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the conspiracy theorist stuff that your crazy Aunt Karen warned you about. That's right. It's coming back again. We're coming in hot and heavy. Tonight, we have episode 257 tonight. It's me, it's Brother Outcast, and tonight episode is called The Great Divide, The Great American Divide, Outcast. Listen, you guys. It seems like the world is gone crazy right now, Outcast, is what I'm saying. It's like it's hard to keep up, and I've been feeling it all week, and that's why I came up with this episode tonight for the title is The Great American Divide. What's going on, brother Outcast? Welcome to the show, episode 257.
Greetings, Jesse. I am blessed in the battle, but this great divide that you're speaking of feels like a pressure cooker getting ready to pop, I swear.
I don't know if it can get any deeper than it is right now, but I swear it's getting that way. We're being pushed. We're being forced. We're being forced by all these different angles, you know. It's crazy. And, hey, we're here to share it and go through the ride with you guys. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Dangerous Info Podcast, and we're going to get into it tonight. Outcast, I want to start this off with something that I've been noticing for quite a while. You know, so it's been wintertime here, right? It's been single digits since Christmas time until just the other day. All of a sudden, it's 50 degrees out today in Michigan. They moved the jet streams around. All right? I don't know if they moved them right now or they moved them back in December, but these jet streams are not normal. They haven't been normal in decades. It's been a long time since we have some normal, jet streams. And what I'm telling you right now, air quality. It's a brand new thing that I noticed on the app. Now, listen, I'm a guy that plows snow, and I've been plowing snow since 1993. So what do I do in the winter? I monitor all the weather. I write it down. I put it in my books for the jobs that we go out those nights. I write down weather conditions, the jobs we do, what equipment went out, how much salt goes down, everything, right? I've got a log of all that going all the way back. Now, just around Christmas time, maybe just after or just before the new year, right around the new year time, I've been monitoring my apps. I always check my apps, weather apps, because, this year it's been really crazy. We've been snow plowing a ton over in January. All right. It's been a really crazy year as far as snow plowing and cold weather and everything. Taylor Smith, what's going on? She said, I started red pilling my colleagues today. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Get them. Yes. I noticed something and I said it to my wife. I opened up the app one day and I can't remember what day it was because I had to go out and do some plowing. And so I said, all right, let's check the radar, see where it's at. So I flipped open my weather app, and in the second level, it says air quality. And I'm looking at this like, man, this has not been here. What is this crap? And the next day I saw it again. I opened up the weather app and I was like, weather, air quality, what is this? So I mentioned it to her, to my wife, and I said, hey, check your app and see if you have any, air quality line or ticker there, whatever they call it. And she at the time, she did not, because we have different weather apps, and mine has it. So I've been monitoring it all the time, and I'm looking at it right now, and it says our air quality right now is 98, which is moderate. So in my app, you can click on that air quality moderate app. So I clicked on it, right? So I click on it and it brings you to this goofy new screen. Talking about the air quality index 98, which is better than yesterday at the same time. So they're doing something, they're monitoring something, and they're feeding out something. So if I keep going down, you go underneath here and there's a little section that says news underneath it. Then it says health information, primary pollutant details, talking about carbon monoxide, parts per billion, nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen oxides, ozone, particulates under 10 parts per million, particulates under 2.5, sulfur dioxide. It's all here, Outcast. This is all brand new stuff, either right around Christmas or in January, the new year. So I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm like, what are they trying to do here? And I know this is part of that continual stuff coming out of the United Nations, kind of, that one world government stuff, that kind of, that climate change nonsense. That's all part of this stuff. So I keep looking around here and it says that news item right there. See that little news right in the middle? So I click it and it takes me to the Vox.com. You guys might have heard of Vox.com before. They're a very left-leaning liberal news rag. I don't know if you can see that on there. Vox. VOX. And then it goes to explaining what this climate, under the climate section, the air quality index and how to use it explained. This goes back to January 22nd, 2025. Talking about live updates with wildfires. Remember last year we had all those Canadian wildfires that they told us? Canadian wildfires, that's what's coming down to you guys down there in the upper part of the Midwest, and that's what you're breathing. We never had that growing up. It was never a thing. This right here on this new app, this air quality stuff, now I'm seeing it all over the place on my Facebook, which I don't mess with Facebook too much. But I'm noticing it today every time I open it up, because we were talking about it. Remember, we were sending texts back and forth with Music Lover and Jack Pine Savage or somebody, I can't remember, maybe a Patriot thread, but that's popping up nonstop. Air quality from all these little local news stations and weather stations and monitors, and even one of ours here, he's got it up there on his. I'm like, what is going on? What is this new push? What is this new air quality psyop that's happening right now? I don't know if anybody else has noticed it. I'm going to look down here. But welcome in, everybody. I see everybody. Rumble, YouTube, pill.net, Twitter. Yeah, go ahead. Twitch.
I want to give props to Brother Tom because he noticed it. He's the first one that pointed out to me before you guys started talking about the text thread. And he said, what's this? Have you noticed the smog in the air? It was Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday. And then shortly after that, you guys started posting about it too. And all I could think of is the Canadian wildfire, bogus, thing we've been watching for the last several years.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know, but my theory is it's lithium mining. Could it be, that we're getting some residual fires going around the world from all the wildfires in Chile that aren't wildfires? I'm sorry, the arson fires in Chile for the land grab that's taking place.
Yeah.
It
could be, man. It could be a combination of a lot of things. But here's another thing too that I'm thinking is that, not years ago we used to talk about smart dust and get laughed at by people by saying, telling you guys, hey, there's smart dust. This is way before 2020. We were talking about smart dust back in the day, and talking about how what it is and how they're spraying it and using all. Again, hang on. Taylor Jane just tipped us the show $10. Love what y'all are doing. I didn't hear the.
Didn't either.
Did you hear the rooster?
There it is.
Taylor Jane, thank you so much for the coffee tip. Thank you for buying me a coffee.
Thank you.
$10. Awesome. Yeah. So smart dust. Yeah, smart dust came out a long time ago. The smart dust stuff is what I was hollering at people back probably 2016, something like that, 15, 17. Somewhere in there, because I was reading reports of this new thing, smart dust, that they're putting out of coming out of planes in the geoengineering. Okay, these are nanoparticulates that we're breathing them in, and it's part of the. They need to get this stuff in us in order to help facilitate that Internet of bodies thing, right? The coming technocracy and all that. So we're breathing all these particulates in that are self-assembling nanobots. And then 2020 comes in, we get this thing, gets pushed through the needle. And that's a different thing, but to the same means. So yeah, the smart dust stuff was coming out a long time ago. People were grabbing this stuff and looking at it. Even recently, just a couple of years ago, even Mike Adams, he was grabbing some stuff from people that were sending it in from, I think, Texas or Florida. And they were going through that stuff. They weren't finding the smart dust in that because that was years ago, but they seem to mix it in whenever they feel deemed necessary, whatever it is, whatever their programming is. But this stuff, that they were finding was, all the other typical pollutants and toxins that are coming in with, the sulfur, the barium, the aluminum, you name it, the strontium and all those things, barium. So yeah, the smart dust precedes all this stuff here, you guys. And, but it's all in preparation, trying to get humans prepared, whether you like it or know it or not, get prepared for the coming Internet of Things, where everything's interconnected with these smart devices. The SMART, self-monitoring, reporting, analysis technology. Yeah. So, it's all part of that smart system grid. So, that's this whole thing, man. To me, it feels like another crazy psyop that they have going with the air quality stuff. So you guys are seeing it on your phones. You're seeing all the newscasters push it. It's all happening at the same time. Within the last 6 to 8 weeks, I noticed it right away because I have to pay attention to the weather in the wintertime. And when I see anomalies like this, or now I see it as a pattern, I'm hoping you guys do too. And I want to bring attention to you guys. And, tell me what you think about all this, Outcast.
Well, I did see an article this morning about how this self-assembling nanotechnology that's appearing in people's bodies are even in the unvaxxed, which would mean it has to be getting into them somehow.
Yeah.
We've suspected for a long time it was in the air. There's been lots of videos of people rounding up dust on their car and then taking a magnet and seeing it go to the magnet.
Yep. Sticks to it.
So I do think it has that potential for sure, if that's what it could be. I mean, on the very innocent side, like I said, it could be mining, which they're not being honest about, the devastating effects of the lithium mining in Canada, but it could be something more nefarious like this. The way people are acting, people are very mentally unstable right now. I mean, I know that they're being bombarded with all kinds of psychological operation information, everything from Obama trying to do a soft disclosure on UFOs out of nowhere. Actually, the timing of that is hilariously suspect, considering he's all over the Epstein files. So now he wants to talk about UFOs suddenly on a little tiny podcast. That's a whole other thing. I'm sorry. Rabbit holes everywhere. I got to watch where I step. But because I don't want to fall down the wrong rabbit hole. But I do think that this is entirely possible. We are quickly approaching 2030. Every Christian I know feels like there's something going on where like Christ's return could be very, very soon. And I think it's ironic, not ironic, but it's quite coincidental that the elites want to have us enslaved by 2030. I sent you guys a link this weekend that shows that while we're talking about the Epstein files, there is something like 1 million satellites that are going to go up and create a control grid across the globe. Or whatever or the dome, whatever you want to call it,
sphere,
the sphere. But why? Look at the speed at which they're rushing. What do they know? They know that we're waking up super fast. Okay, this Epstein thing has got legs that they didn't anticipate. I don't think, or they did. Or if you look at Project Looking Glass, if you want to go back and research that, these elites have known for some time that there was a wake up coming, and they weren't going to be able to control it. What would make sense to you if you're an elite? Well, let's see how many we can kill off. Let's see how many we can control. Maybe if we get nanotech inside of them, we can control their minds. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can thin the herd. I mean, just all these maybes are out there, and I think they're trying it all. Maybe UFO disclosure will be able to help us get a handle on it. Maybe if we do, Project Bluebeam, they have so many contingencies. We might be living through the psyop of one psyop after another in attempts to get a handle on the situation that they can't control.
A parade of psyops. Yeah, it's a parade of psyops. And they're testing the algorithms to see which ones are sticking, which ones aren't, which ones we're buying into, which ones we're afraid of. Meanwhile, like you said, the Great Divide is the name of the show tonight. It is painfully obvious that they want to create a race war, a civil war, religious war. Now, I'm not saying it's one or the other. I think they're going for all three at once, right? And a global war. I mean, they just need war and chaos at all costs. The thing is if when people wake up, they don't fall into the traps as easily. More and more people aren't buying into the narratives of Minneapolis. The Minneapolis side, I mean, it's had some good legs for some weeks, but it hasn't spread like Black Lives Matter did. Yeah, okay? George Floyd 2.0 is what they wanted, but they didn't get it.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. Right, exactly. So they're desperate.
Oh,
so
they're
if you
panicking.
feel overwhelmed,
yeah,
they're panicking. If you feel overwhelmed, the feeling is real because you're being hit with, psyops that would have been, designated for just one season. Let's do this year, and we're going to do this one next. No, they're just going rapid fire, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
they're definitely and then music lover. They're panicking about something. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. You just summed it up with a lot less words, but that's exactly what I'm sensing too.
So to be clear on what Taylor Smith has just sent to us with her Buy Me a Coffee, she says, love what y'all are doing. Y'all are a bright spot in a dark world. Keep doing what you are doing. So we're going to keep doing it. Is what I'm saying. So thank you so much for becoming a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. That was great.
God bless you. Thank you for the encouragement. We need it.
Yeah. And we have a new one too that I want to highlight too. Our friend Jacqueline Duviyoung. She came in. I saw her the other day. Jacqueline, thank you so much. I believe that's a friend of yours, Outcast, that you know. So yeah.
Yep. I think I talked about her before. Jacqueline is She's been awake as long as we have, going down all the rabbit holes. Her and I have been comparing notes for years. She is a regular listener. She's a woman of God. And every time I talk to her, I always get really good insights and things to think about from a biblical perspective. So God bless you, Jacqueline. Thanks for your support.
Excellent. Awesome. I like it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And we have, what I want to say more about this right here is this whole smart dust and the, just to pay attention to this air quality PSYOP stuff, you guys. It's something bigger. It's connected to the whole Internet of Bodies and whole Internet of Things program that's coming. So even though a lot of that stuff got just destroyed this last week, Donald Trump deregulated all that stuff and let all that stuff go. The push buttons in your car, the DEF fluid in these diesel engines, all that stuff now is not required by these manufacturers. So I hope the manufacturers of all this stuff go back to what they were doing before and stop regulating our movements. And if they can do that, I would love that, because that affects us every single day, especially me with my equipment and what I'm trying to do. Music Lover says, this wake up has broken the spirits of normies, especially the ones who don't know Jesus. They recognize that it's incredibly evil, but don't know what can be done about it, right? When justice is step-sided by these elites, there's little hope that the criminals will face any consequences of this side of eternity. And they are going to get everything that they deserve on the other side. But we definitely would love we'd love some vengeance here. But we're not outcasts. We're not supposed to do that. That's what I'm saying. But we'd love to see it, right? Because look what they've done to these young ones, and these the death, the murder, the rape, the pillage, the grotesque, everything that they've done that we've been hollering about and getting called crazy names about for years for talking about this stuff, Outcast. It's all come to the light, and people are seeing it now. So even the normies are starting to sound like us back in 2016. It's crazy.
In a way, I'm encouraged by Music Lover's comment there, because for me, I know personally, and probably for many of our listeners as well, it's that feeling of despair when you recognize that there is such thing as evil in the world, and you find out that their bank accounts are called Moloch, and you find out that they're, how, like, not just like evil as a blanket term, but like literal Satan worship is taking place at the highest levels. Then you realize that they're in control and nothing's happening. That's the perfect recipe when you feel that despair, for you to get on your knees and surrender your heart to Jesus, even if you don't understand exactly what that means in its entirety.
Yeah.
That's what happened to so many of us. So let's hope that this is going to lead to, like, what the devil plans for evil, that God can turn for good. Maybe this is going to cause a revival that's even greater than anything else we've seen before. I mean, this is so diabolically evil. We know all this stuff. You and I, Jesse, and our savvy listeners, we all know this. But now that to see it in the faces of people that were in denial of it, recognizing it, it's making me kind of relive it all over again in a way. And I know it's shocking. It's heavy. It really is. But
it is crazy and surreal that it's coming back the way it is right now, because again, we were exhausted trying to tell people and wake people up about this Jeffrey Epstein guy, the same way that I was trying to wake people up about a guy named George Soros and the United Nations and all this stuff that was happening in Europe back in 2012. They didn't want to hear it. Now these are household names in normies' families around dinner tables, Outcast. And does that mean we have to go back and relive all this stuff? I mean, like you said, it pains me to go back and talk about all this nonsense again. It's not nonsense. It's very deep stuff, disturbing stuff. Victoria Lee over there, what's going on? How you doing on pill.net? But what are we going to do? We're going to jump back into it. I mean, I guess we have been now for weeks.
Okay, so here's the good news of it, and actually, I'm going to just tell you an anecdotal but true story. This weekend, I've told you guys about my buddy Solomon. He's only 16. That got born again. But we saw the pictures of him getting baptized.
Big boy.
Yeah. Solomon and his girlfriend, I drove them home from church because they live about a half an hour away. So frequently I need to give them a ride home. Their mom has to take care of a sick loved one. So she'll go to church with us, but then she goes on to the sick loved one. And then I take the kids home. I shouldn't call them kids, because for 15 and 16 years old, they are thinking like adults. Now I'm going to get to your point, Jesse. I was kind of shocked and amazed about how much these two young people knew about this whole situation and the biblical filter that they were looking at it through, the lens that they were looking at it. It was very encouraging. Now, what I'm getting at here is if 15 and 16-year-olds are hip to what a big chunk of what this is going on, when I hung out with them, with their line of questioning to me was to help bring a few aspects into focus and connect a few dots.
Yep.
See, in the past, what you and I were doing and our listeners is you're trying to tell family members from point zero and they can't grasp it. It's too big of a story. It's too weird. And they just go, you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm done with this, blah, 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 la, 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 right? Now the hard work is done. They can recognize the evil. They know it's real. They know this is bigger than they can imagine. Now your new job isn't just to try to wake them up from step one. You get to come in at step 5, 6, or 7 and say, now let me complete the whole picture for you.
Yeah.
This goes to here, this goes to here, this goes to here, and it's all connected. So it's a new role that we're going to have to play of helping people connect the dots. They see it, but they don't fully understand what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Just like we did when we first discovered it too. I mean, I remember when I first started understanding adrenochrome and all this stuff, I was like, and I knew it was real. I didn't have any doubts, but I was just like, it was very, very primitive, very early for me. And I went to a buddy of mine who's been down a lot of rabbit holes before me. And I was like, dude, what is this? And he said, very casually, he goes, the belief that there's power in the blood of the innocents is nothing new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like,
it's biblical.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
straight up.
And I thought, Mayans, Egyptians, Babylonians, every culture planet has been sacrificing humans since the dawn of time. I mean, at least 4,000 years, if you want to go back to Elijah and Elisha battling out with the priests of Baal, right? Yeah. This is not new. This is very old. And that was affirming to my faith.
Yeah. And that, how does that tie in directly to Hollywood? You know what I'm saying? Because because we were getting called all kinds of, just like you said, we were getting called all kinds of names when we came out and started talking about this stuff. I don't even remember how we got it. We talked about that big coffee book with all the pictures that are in it and all the descriptions and all the names and unredacted. There was a lot of Hunter Biden stuff in there. A lot of, the Obama kids that were in there. It was just insane. It was wild, man. It was wild. The New York Police Department stuff, those guys with the Hillary stuff and the Comet ping pong stuff.
Anthony Weiner laptop and Frazzled Rip.
Yeah, Frazzled Rip. Yep. So, let me show you what we were up against back then. The Hollywood machine. So we're gonna go over here, and I'm gonna show you. This is a nighttime host. Yeah, Stephen Colbert. What's he doing? Mocking child sacrifice to Moloch. Check this out, you guys. This is insane.
No, the Norquist is coming for me! I must appease him with the gift of a man-child! Come to me! I must feed you!
That's a real baby he just picked up.
No! I must feed you to the Norquist! No, take him! No, take the baby! Take the baby! Don't eat me, eat the baby!
Let's keep going.
I'm sure the baby will be fine.
He just sacrificed that baby to Moloch right there on stage in front of a full audience.
Well, what this is, in my humble opinion, is they need us to be in tacit agreement. If we don't object and we clap and applaud and we take it and we shrug it off as comedy, they take that as consent.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They do it in our movies. They do it in television. If they show us what they're up to, and if we do not object, they go, okay. And it's also conditioning. They're also mentally preparing us for the evil that the evil world that they wish to create. And they don't want to hide it. They're tired of hiding, and they want to slowly bring us into agreement as they bring it to the forefront. And the good news is that all evil contains the seeds of its own destruction. They will overstep their boundaries. Obviously, they have. This is not going exactly the way they thought it was going to go. Right? Because let's look at it like this. In the Epstein files, a lot of these people are communicating with Jeffrey Epstein after he's already been indicted, after the lid is been blown off of who he is.
He's still giving instruction. Yes.
Yeah, they're still reaching out to him, talking. Well, why would you do that? Well, that's a very strong self-confidence, thinking that you will not be held accountable and there's no trouble to be had because you're in control of everything.
Right.
But yet somehow it's starting to get ugly for them. It's just one by one, people are being arrested. People are being, like in Brazil, there was the pilot of the Lolita Express was flying a flight, and when he landed in Brazil, they took him into
They captured him.
They captured him, took him into captivity. So, they might not know exactly what they've unleashed here on themselves. They have, but I mean, think about it. Their arrogance is astounding. In this Balaam and Moloch, this child sacrifice stuff, like they're letting us see what they're about, what they're about. I mean, Stephen Colbert,
well, if you think about it, bring it back up. But even when they think about or they show this stuff and they try to display these things and make fun of them, they don't realize what actually they're doing to the people that are watching this stuff. Now, the normies will not see it. Just like the normies that were live in that studio audience, they were clapping and cheering for that. They have no clue that what he just did there was a biblical, spiritual type of reference, right? They didn't know that was something that happens. That's the whole abortion thing. That's all of that stuff, Outcast. It's sacrificing in the name of Moloch. For what? What's the reason for it? Why would they do that? Well, because they are promised something. If you give us this, well, we're going to make you rich and famous and give you everything your heart desired, everything. But you have to do these things for us. You know, that's that whole sacrifice thing. It seems to, it never ends. It just changes from the beginning of time till today. It's the same old thing happening over and over again, disguised as something else.
Our brother Evan is over here, and he says, revelation of the method. They have to tell you what they're doing. There's that. And there's another way to look at this too. I think that's a great point, Evan. Thank you for bringing that up. The revelation of the method. I always forget that term. The other thing that gets me about this is that at the very least, they like to make fun of things so that the normies will fall back to sleep. You know, like I was listening to a recent episode.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple weeks back, there was an episode of Blurry Creatures, and they were talking about psyops. And this is just, I don't want to dwell on this for a very long time. I just want to bring this up because I thought it was interesting. There was a guy who was actually seeing UFOs, but what he was seeing, he didn't realize was unseen military tech that hadn't been released yet.
Yeah.
And they were so determined to keep this guy off track of what he was seeing. They didn't want him to know it was military tech. They got special effects artists from Disney. Literally, the government paid Disney special effects artists and created a whole crash site to take him to. And they fed this guy such a heavy line of garbage on UFOs just to keep him off the truth. That's how far they will go to make sure that you stay asleep and off the truth, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, I think it's sort of like a comedy psyop where they go, all right, so we're going to make fun of this and we're going to make fun of anybody. And then the normies will go, yeah, it's just a joke, man. Just get over it. It's just, and it works. It does work very well. I'm having flashbacks. The church I left after 20 years, we got this youth pastor, and I don't want to make aspersions because I don't know, I can't prove anything. But one day, there was a couple suspicious things that got my red flags flying. But one was he got up in front of the church one day. He would give a little tiny mini thing before, because he was just the youth pastor, before he would go on before the regular pastor started. But he said he went on a whole diatribe about how what Pizzagate was, what a conspiracy theory is, and how Pizzagate has been debunked.
Yeah,
and it's
I saw
complete
that.
rubbish. And I was like,
it.
I went up to him after church. I was like, dude, I got to talk to you. I said, Pizzagate has not been debunked. And I started talking to him, and he looks at me and his eyes glaze over. He goes, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired. And he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now I've trolled him for years. I send him texts. I still have his number, and I sent him texts as things were being proven.
Yeah.
He never says a word. Maybe he blocked me. I don't know. My phone doesn't tell me if I'm blocked, but he never responds. But
yeah,
why was he doing that? Either he's one of them and he wants to hide things, or at the very least he's a plebe who likes Stephen Colbert and likes mainstream comedy, and he took the dog whistle cue that let's make fun of this topic and laugh at everybody like they're a dumb boomer who wants to unravel the truth. Right?
Yeah, maybe he was. Does he wear red shoes?
He did. I got pictures of him wearing red shoes.
Yep.
He had a big he lived in the church rectory, and he put a big Mickey Mouse statue on his front porch,
Oh, boy.
which doesn't mean anything. Just throwing that out there. Also, too, I saw in it there was a children's program where they built this cardboard box temple thing for a Indiana Jones themed vacation Bible school, and there was hand drawn hieroglyphs and magic marker all over this temple, and no holds barred. I saw the pedo symbol on that.
Oh yeah,
somebody drew the
the
triangle,
the circular or the triangular one. Yeah, that goes around.
It was the
and
triangle
around,
that goes in on itself. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just looking for it on my phone. I can't find the pictures, but I got pictures of it all.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can't prove it.
when I say I remembered that, I saw that. I remember you telling me that years ago, and I also remember seeing there was a guy. Eddie Bravo was arguing with the guy over on Joe Rogan back in 2016 or something, long time ago. And then there was another host that was also sitting at the table, and he said the exact same thing you just did, that your guy was telling that you said that he was saying about it's all been debunked, it's not real, you can't do it. Well, this clip came back and said now at this point, 5 or 6 years later, whatever, 10 years later, who was right? Well, of course, Eddie Bravo, because he was on the same lines that we were on back then. You know what I mean? But this guy was so confident in his, oh no, that's fake, they wouldn't do that, that's not real. Whether he knew to say that or he actually thought it was not real. Maybe he was being put up to it, but it's wild, man. It is just wild what's going on. And I'm excited for the ride. I want this stuff to end, but I want people to wake up, and I want people to be held accountable for what they've done to these little kids. And wrapped in along with all that is what they're doing, the manipulation of us and our cancer cures and everything else through Jeffrey Epstein and control of pharmaceuticals. Okay. There's a big rabbit hole right there that somebody needs to go down to. That's the whole cancer cure thing. I don't know if you saw that, Outcast, where those seven or eight countries just released their cancer, last week? It said, oh, we have all these cures for cancer now. Well, what was the problem? Why didn't you have them 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? And why all at the same time? Well, it's because they were being hamstrung by the grips of the Jeffrey Epstein, what do you call it, cabal? And he's just a middleman. He's just a middleman somewhere in there. There's people higher than him, but he had that middle control of all these corporations and all these things. And Larry Fink's name, Larry Fink on BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, but we always talk about those three. But in particular, BlackRock, Larry Fink. That's all. That's the only name we know him by, isn't it? His real name is Larry Finkelstein.
Mm-hmm.
We are goyim to these people.
Yeah.
These fake Jew Zionists.
Yep.
These Khazarians. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? What are you guys going to do about it on TV there? In the audio there? We got to keep waking people up, Outcast. Go ahead.
I've been doing it like crazy, dude. Everywhere I have a green light to talk about this topic, I have been. Yeah. And I have to, I have to precursor anything I'm going to say next, because I'm the king of the precursor, but I got to say this. As a follower of Christ, I love people. I have to. I'm called to love people. I'm called to love as Christ loved. And anything I say, I'm not trying to condemn an entire race of people. That's not the point here. But these people at the very top who call us goy and that kind of thing, they are definitely on some kind of a power trip. And to me, I see a direct correlation to the Babylonian Talmud and Jewish mysticism.
Right.
Explain
that a little bit.
Well, oh boy, how far you want me to go?
Not just surface level, because we still got to do the prayer before. But go ahead, go ahead and get some of that in there.
I've known this story for a very long time, and I've suspected that a lot of this sexual deviancy and pedophilia, predatory lending, all that stuff. I knew it was linked to the Talmud. I did. I knew it. But but it's hard when it's hard to prove to other people if they can't wrap their head around it.
Right.
But when it's right there in black and white in the Epstein, these files that are being released like crazy, that they obviously think that we're cattle property. It's interesting because it brings things into focus. The Israelites were in captivity underneath the Egyptians. Okay, they were a slave class for a whole economic system Now, I know that these aren't the same people that are being talked about in the Old Testament. These are 8th century Persian converts to Judaism from an area called Khazaria. They are not the Jews of the Bible. First of all,
Right,
that's the
right.
first part of it. But it's interesting that they beat the drum of that oppression that supposedly happened to them, which didn't happen to the descendants of Shem, not the descendants of Japheth. Japheth's grandson's name was Ashkenaz. Shem begot Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it didn't happen to them, but they claim it that happened to them. But what did they learn from it? That they're going to do it to us.
Yeah.
Because if you look at how people are losing their property because of property tax, like Carla Wagner brings to our attention all the time.
Yep.
Okay.
The usury and all that. Yep.
So you work your whole life, your spouse dies, you can no longer pay your property tax. And then you get sick because of the way they fed you. They fed you garbage food and they sprayed the skies. They treated you like a piece of meat, a garbage, actually, refuse. And once you're done generating income for the system, they put you in a home and they take your house.
Yep.
Right.
That's the program they set up for us.
I also find it incredibly ironic that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to figure out how to make a master race, which is what they accused Hitler of doing.
Well, here's the thing too. Never forget about the Jeffrey Epstein ranch and what was going on down there, taking all the women and the kids and, the young females and trying to impregnate all them for his whole deal. But now also coming out of these Epstein files is there's evidence there that Jeffrey Epstein's DNA is in all the COVID jabs. So
I was going to go there. Yeah.
And talking about this, you can do that. I'm just skipping off of there, but
no, go ahead.
Evan says right here, he says, I really feel like my cancer treatment or doctors keep trying to keep me on the meds forever, even though I'm totally fine. I've changed courses and I'm doing spike protein detoxes instead of what they keep pushing. Thanks for the spike proteins, by the way, Moderna. Yeah,
Jeez.
So keep on going, brother. Listen, I'm not sure what spike protein protocol you're doing, but I would suggest Dr. Lee Merritt from themedicalrebel.com. Check out her protocol. She's got some good ones on there. Yeah. So go ahead, Outcast. I'm sorry I didn't jump in there.
No, I'm just kind of babbling, thinking out loud. But I mean, these people at the very top think nothing of us. And there's emails, it's all becoming very clear that they were talking about depopulation. All the stuff that we've been ranting and raving about forever. I feel vindicated in that it's in the information, and now normies can see it for themselves, that they were talking amongst themselves about such controversial topics.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, as Christians, I pray that everybody finds Jesus. I don't want to hate anybody. I want to, but when you look at what's going on here, you need to wake up, because our overlords who have kept us in debt, completely enslaved to debt through loans, and then, balloon arms on your mortgage, or, you can take out a home equity line of credit, and it just keeps you enslaved.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use a weird analogy just to try to drive this point home. I knew a friend years ago. She was into witchcraft at the time. She's born again Christian now. If you're out there, Paula Platonis, say hi to me. I miss you. I'd love to get back in touch with you. But she was a witch at one time, a white witch. She considered herself a good witch. Her and her husband got stranded in Florida. Stranded by that, I mean, they wanted to come back to Michigan, but they didn't have enough money. So she did a spell. She got exactly the amount of money they needed to come home the very next day after doing the spell. But when they arrived in Michigan, what they found they weren't aware of is that they had 3 times the debt waiting for them.
Yeah.
The devil was hoping that she would do more spells to get herself out of that trouble, and continually do spells until she was so deeply in debt that there was no coming back. Fortunately, she found Jesus, and Jesus redeemed her and canceled all those debts. But that is an earmark of the devil. That is how the devil works. Now I'm talking spiritually in this case, but I also mean financially, and they're usually intertwined.
Yeah.
So this debt system by Larry Finkelstein and BlackRock and all this stuff, it is of the devil. And what happened to people? I mean, I don't, no, I'm not condemning anybody who took the vaccine, but I'm just saying what happened to a lot of people that took that vaccine is they had a fear of losing their job. It was implied that they would lose their job. Now, you and I had made a resolution. We're like, I called my boss right away. I said, I'm not taking that shot. You're gonna have to fire me. That's the first thing out of my mouth. He's like, whoa. I said, we're not there yet. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know. I'm not taking it. Now, a lot of people didn't feel comfortable doing that. Why? In my humble opinion, a lot of them have crushing student loan debt, home loan debt. That debt system stops the brain from working properly in the spiritual realm. You are beholden to the devil because the devil is a debt meister. He is a loan shark. That's what he does. Okay. That's why we have to be fiscally responsible and try to live a life that is completely debt-free if possible. That is, and if you're not living debt-free, I'm going to challenge you to pray and meditate on it and make that your goal. And it is possible. And if you do, it is the most liberating thing. I should say nobody, but it is very hard to control you.
Yeah.
If you are debt-free. You're not going to panic if you lose your job. You're not going to panic if they threaten you with something. But see, that's the tee up. The tee up was in debt, devalue the dollar, manipulate the currency, overprint dollars, create a recession so people are desperate, and then make them think they have to have all this stuff and they have to live in a bigger house, and then they have to have this degree, even though the degree doesn't really equate to the money they're going to make. You follow how complex this is?
Yeah.
And they make slaves just like in Egypt out of everyone. You think you're free, but you are not free at all.
It's a sinister scheme that they come up with, and it's the oldest scheme in the book, and it still works, and it still works on us. I feel like they are, I don't know, at least the third iteration, but I feel like, it seems like 19 teens, Bolshevik Russia. They did to them what they're doing to us right now. 1930s Germany, they did to them what they're doing to us right now. It's the same people in charge, the same fake Jew Zionists. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Fake.
Yep.
Okay, they're in charge. They change the name changers, the money changers. That's who these people are. They're not the ones that we would choose to love. Those ones are still hidden away. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Through Christ, everybody is redeemable. Okay.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you're an Ashkenazi Jew or if you're a Sephardic Jew, from the line of Shem. None of that matters. Jesus brought a new covenant, but the thing is, these people actively mock him and make fun of him at every junction. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, the list goes on. Every chance you get. I just watched some mundane movie the other night, and it was the Family Guy. I never watch it, but it rolled over from one show to the next, and Family Guy, and they were mocking God like crazy.
Yeah.
These people. So anybody who opposes the Messiah, Yeshua, Mashiach, that is an antichrist.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you're, Ashkenazi. I don't care about that at all. I don't care if you're from India. I don't care if you're China. If you choose Jesus Christ, you're brother and sister to me. And you are grafted back into the family, because the family was, quoting Michael Heiser here, the family of God was fractured at the Tower of Babel. But when Jesus, with Pentecost, when they were speaking, all the provinces that were mentioned in the Tower of Babel story, where people were disavowed by God because of their rebellion towards him, those people were represented as hearing their own language being spoken at Pentecost.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus he was reclaiming God's family at Pentecost that was scattered by God previously at the Tower of Babel. Doesn't matter where your genetics are. Nobody cares. But the reason we were mentioning fake Jews and real Jews is because we've been sold this lie by people like Ted Cruz, who doesn't know his Bible from a hole in the ground, saying things like, "Oh, you have to support Israel no matter what, because they're God's chosen people, and whoever supports Israel, whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whoever curses Israel will be cursed." That is taken out of context. First of all, Jesus brought a new covenant. The people. None of this matters. It doesn't. But if you're going to try to sell me on this concept that I have to support Israel based on a bloodline, they're not even the bloodline that they're talking about.
Right. It's probably the bloodline that they've been kicking out the last couple of years.
Well, that too. Yeah, that's absolutely true. There's probably more Semitic Shemites or Shem. Yeah, the descendants of Shem are Palestinian and other people that live in that area.
Yeah. For sure, man. Hey, listen, we're gonna have to get to a prayer, brother. Even though we're right in the middle of the show, usually we do this at the towards the top of the show, but that's all right. We will be covered in prayer like an umbrella, not just from the top down, but all sides is what I'm saying. So, on the other side, we have some things to get to, but just before we get to the prayer, behind me on the screen, I have I Am Legend, an old DVD player. So. Talking about going in DNA and changing things and how they create these demons or these zombies in the show. It was because of a vaccine. That's what did it.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. All right, brother. Let's bow our heads.
Dear Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Adonai, El Shaddai, Lord of heaven and earth, we love you and we worship you and we praise your name when we come to you in fear and humility, but also in love, knowing that we are reclaimed as the descendants, as the body of Christ through Jesus Christ. We are reclaimed as the descendants of Abraham. We are all in that family together. It doesn't matter where we come from, what our background is, how we were raised. As long as we come to you through Jesus Christ, we are in that family, and we thank you for that opportunity. It is the most inclusive and exclusive thing that ever has been, and it's amazing. It is not by works that we are saved, Lord. We are so grateful for that. Every other religion is chasing their tail, trying to be a good person and try to earn their way into heaven. It is the most exhausting thing you can do. But with you, Lord, we have redemption through the shed blood of Jesus Christ, and we cannot thank you enough for that work that he did on the cross for us. Lord, he is the spotless lamb and the high priest rolled into one. He conquered the grave. He took the keys from Sheol, and he liberated us from the control of the devil. He has won the victory. Lord, this battle that we face here on earth, it seems daunting at times, but we know that you are with us. We can feel your presence. We can feel your communication to us. We can feel your blessings. We can feel your guidance. And we're asking for more, Lord. We ask that you give us more revelation. You give us more wisdom and discernment. We're asking for your anointing on our ministry and the appointing of our steps on a daily basis. Lord, we thank you for guiding us onto the narrow path with you and being a lamp at our feet and a light on that path. And we thank you for the yoke of Jesus Christ that shares our burdens and guides us towards the narrow gate. We thank you, Lord, for this ministry that you've given Jesse and I, an opportunity to gather a family of people, of believers, of thinkers, of critical thinkers who also love you, that aren't so worldly that they question you, but rather they believe in your sovereignty and the truth of your Bible, and they can see it being played out in real time. From past history to biblical prophecy, they see it all intertwined, and we consider them all family. We thank you for giving us this extended family, Lord, because otherwise it can feel lonely out here, Lord. Help us all to focus on what you think of us, not what our family thinks of us, not what people at work snicker about saying us behind our backs, or anybody else that tries to judge us that doesn't know anything usually. They just snicker. They just think that by laughing, that excuses them from knowing. Lord, it's a lonely path, but we know with you we have companionship and we have guidance and we have love and we have everything that matters. So help us all, Lord, to remember on a daily basis, no matter how weird this information gets that's coming out, whatever its intended purpose is, regardless of whatever the devil has planned, that you will turn pain into purpose. You will turn evil schemes into good, and you will focus our hearts on you. And may we all daily focus on the unseen and not what is seen, for what is unseen is eternal and what is seen is temporary. Lord, this feels like just like a yucky psyop sitcom we're living through down here, a Truman Show of some sort. And we know that it bears no fruit. The people of this world, we can see that they don't bear fruit, but we know that our life in you bears fruit. And we thank you for that. Lord, we know that people are out there struggling with addiction. Vanessa's son, I keep forgetting his name, Lord. Vanessa's son and Amber Dawn's son, Amber Dawn's daughter, Bella, and also my friend's friend from work who got fired for his alcoholism. His name's Kane. Lord, Nicholas is my friend Vanessa's son's name. Lord, we were praying that people like them, not just them, but anybody that is struggling with any type of addiction, Lord, we pray that you will be ever present in their situation, that you will speak truth into their lives, and you will help them to understand that the body that they're walking around in is a temple that belongs to you. We are your new temple. We are the new tabernacle. And maybe they will stop abusing it when they realize who they are in you, Lord. Lord, we pray for anybody out there that's dealing with marital issues. Some people are in loveless marriages, or people are in marriages where their spouse is a non-believer and they mock them or scoff at them. And there's so many different scenarios that can be challenging within marriage. We pray that you will be peace in those situations, and that you will help each individual learn to be the husband that their spouse needs them to be, and the wife that the husband needs them to be. Lord, we ask for your hand to be on any situation where people are dealing with illness, cancer, autoimmune disorders, heart issues. I mean, the list goes on. People are sick with all kinds of things, and it seems to be escalating in some regards. And Lord, we ask that you will be their divine healer, that you will just put your physician's touch on their lives and just remedy whatever's going on. If the answer is no and they need more long suffering, help them to be patient in the waiting. Lord, we pray that you'll be with us in this episode, protect us from technical glitches. We pray that everything that we say and we convey will be edifying to the listener. We pray that we will all learn something tonight. Things will come out, that you will show us things in our conversation that we can apply to our lives right on the tablet of our hearts and take into the world to help enlighten other people and bring them out of the darkness and into the light. Lord, I pray all these things in Jesus Christ's holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of good stuff there that people need to hear, Outcast, and thanks for doing that. That's good. During your prayer there, it looks like Evan says being a follower of the way is literally the most punk rock thing someone can do. Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
amen to that.
That's really good. They're saying amen, and thank you, Outcast. So good. Listen, on the other side, we're going to come back. We got a lot to talk about. I'll probably open the phone lines if you guys want to jump in and talk about anything, but we're going to be talking about a local girl, Nicole Curtis, here in just a little bit, and some more of this leftist satanic panic, and probably jump some more Epstein stuff, and the left, the dual citizenship that we're seeing. A lot of dual citizenship stuff in our Congress. What's going on with that? That's crazy, Outcast. We've done it before, but listen, let's go on a quick break, and on the other side of this, you guys, we'll be right back. We're going to jump into all that stuff, all right? This is the Dangerous Info Podcast. Be right back.
Sit and spin, kiss your fluff, just sit and spin. They join in, spin is fun with sit and spin. All in line, running round and feeling fun. Kiss your fluff, just spin and spin.
Kenner's Sit and Spin. You put it together.
Here we are in Northwest Washington, D.C. to visit a joint that's serving up ping pong and pizza. This is Common Ping Pong.
Softy coming out, soft shell crab pizza. That's the first, man. Coming up.
And it's all cooked up by owner Jaymz Alefontis,
2 pies for 25.
who's been in the biz since he was 15.
I grew up like baking, plus I love playing ping pong.
So of course it made sense to put
I'll never forget that. Michael Jackson saved me from getting on a plane to that tiny island.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on Epstein's island. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and they flipped the script and made it appear as if he was the one abusing them, when in reality they were abusing them, and he was protecting the children, he was protecting the celebrities. And you have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin who have gone on record to protect and defend Michael Jackson. This all makes sense. It has finally come together. This man has been dead for so long, but now it's coming together. Not only did he protect the children from the physical things that were being done to them, and you know what I'm saying, you just social media, gotta be careful, but he also were protecting them from the social and emotional abuses that were occurring by advising Britney Spears to get out from under her dad before the conservatorship and things of that nature. This man was a lifesaver.
All right, Outcast. Welcome back to the show, you guys. Episode 257. That's right. The Great American Divide is upon us, and we're right in the middle of it. Outcast, it seems like we cannot get away from this thing. It's being pushed harder and harder by the media, education, government, politics. It's just crazy how deep they're willing to go to keep us divided, Outcast. And I got to tell you what, this next story, it's current, it's local, as well as nationwide, and it just keeps going on and on, Outcast. And I brought this up to you just a little bit ago. Do you remember what I was talking about before the show started? I kind of brought you up to speed a little bit, Outcast, about Nicole Curtis, local girl. You're still on, I think you're still on mute. You've muted yourself. Sorry. There you go. Yeah. All right, so listen, you guys. I'm not sure if you guys know who Nicole Curtis is, but she's a host on HGTV. She's got one of those HGTV home improvement shows, right? And 11 years, a long time. But she's a local girl to us, right? She actually went to my high school. I don't know her personally, but I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends that know her. personally, very close. Friends of mine are close friends of hers. And, she does a lot of stuff locally to try to save and preserve historic buildings, right? And renovate them and do all kinds of things. You guys have seen her show on HGTV. HGTV, I cannot stand. Anyway, this is before all this. I don't know. They're a weak kind of a home improvement show. They turned everything into a game. A weak, limp-wristed men doing all kinds of silly things. It's more like a game show, cooking show to me. This whole thing, everything on HGTV. I don't like it. Remember when it first came out? We had real men on there doing real things and showing you how to do things like this old house. And those old landscapers that used to be on there, and they'd get out there and they'd be in the dirt, and it was more long form. There was not any of this real quick gotcha kind of stuff and these little challenges and who's got the best looking thing. And then look, it's not, I don't like it is what I'm saying, Outcast. But back to the story of Nicole Curtis, right? Local girl. 4 years ago, while filming one of her shows, she had said something that it's a word I don't like. It's the N word, right? And she said it along with, she was trying to say fart knocker, which is like, when like, oh, darn it. Oh, dang it. Fart knocker. Okay. That's what she was trying to do. Okay. That's what she was meant to do. Instead, the word came out. Remember, this is 4 years ago. She was standing on a ladder. I think she dropped a paintbrush or something. She says, oh, fart knocker. Instead of saying knocker, she said the N word. Okay. Now it wasn't directed at anybody. She, all of a sudden she caught herself and she's like, oh no, can we delete that? Can we get rid of that? Obviously it was taping for the show. Well, the guy said, no, we can't delete it, but we just will not air it. So again, 4 years ago, okay, HGTV, contracts, think about all these things. So again, that statement that she said, the word I don't like, she probably doesn't like that word either. I mean, it offends me. Also, the word is very hilarious when you use it in context like Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, Red Fox, all these old guys. They'd make the word funny, right? Rap music makes the word aggressive. Also funny in some of these rap songs. They do it all kinds of ways. It's off limits to me though. I don't like the word. Okay. But that's just me. So she said that word on accident, obviously. And just think about this. Last week, she was renewing the show. It was coming out at a new time on HGTV. You can tell there were some struggles over the years here of whether they were going to replace her show with some other show. And they've got a ton of these chicks doing these shows, right? These home improvement shows on there. And they're all very, very similar. You guys have seen them. All right. Well, they were changing her show from a primetime spot to, I don't know, midday, on a Wednesday or just something weird, a spot that she's never been in. So that, I believe that was supposed to air starting Wednesday with this contract with HGTV. All of a sudden, a Tuesday evening, that 4-year-old clip comes out without any context. Headlines saying, leaked to I think Radar Online. First of all, who leaked it? Who held it for 4 years? And then why on the day when HGTV is supposed to air her show again for the next season, holding that over her head for 4 years, then when it comes out, that whole leak and all this stuff, not directed at anybody. It was just like, oh, dang it. Oh, rats, but the N word, fart knocker, but that's the way I'm going to say it. That's what they pretty much have destroyed her life, canceled her for one little, I'm going to call it a mistake. I don't know what else to call it. Mess up, whatever it is. I can tell you locally, she's pretty much, she's well liked around here. Right. But she goes up against these local governments that don't like her because they want to, she wants to save these old constructions, these old buildings. They want to knock them down. But anyway, now HGTV, they're out of contract with her. They don't have to renew. They're done with her now because of something that they saved 4 years ago. And it got leaked. Who did all this? How convenient. Yes, thank you, Taylor Smith. Now, this is a huge story. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Wait a minute. Music lover says, you don't have enough melanin to pull it off. Listen, all right. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And Evan says, she said literally went, what did I just say after she said it? It was totally a goofy slip up. Yes. And it was not. Listen, when people started reacting, they see white girl say with N-word nearby in a headline, they lose their minds. They don't consider context. They don't consider how it was said or what it was, who it was to. Now look, Outcast, she didn't call anybody an N-word. Nobody got called that. She didn't get accused of that. But when the headline comes out, you get the social media brainwashed normies, white girl, N-word. All of a sudden, they just go straight to racist. They don't understand the context. They ruined her life over this stuff. Now, she's been helping families for the last 10, 12 years fix their houses, get into homes all around here. I drive by a few every day. Now there's families in these old dilapidated homes. She's been helping them bring their dreams to life. Yeah, she's worked with black people. She's worked with Mexicans and whites and Irish and whoever. Who cares? But she says one thing after dropping a tool off a ladder 4 years ago, and she's being really big time punished. But I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not a matter of me knowing her or liking her. I just don't like the situation. It doesn't matter if it was her, somebody, or you, Outcast. I know you wouldn't probably slip and say that word, but who knows? Who knows? You could slip and say some other stuff, right? But look, certain people have permission to say that word. And again, like I said, it's funny when you hear comedians talk about it. Dave Chappelle uses that word and it's hilarious, right? We can all laugh about that stuff. Remember in the 70s, we could all laugh about stuff? Music lovers saying, let me see, hang on. I bet they just save all the slip up clips in a folder called blackmail. Look, they're taking the Epstein protocol. Exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what I was explaining yesterday to somebody. It's like they hold these things.
I was thinking similarly. It's well said as usual. Music lover always comes out a nice condensed way of saying it, but yeah, I was thinking similar. You know, if it's one thing if you slip up and you say a word that is incendiary, you know, makes people upset, and it came out organic. It came out at the time. Let's say somebody leaked it immediately. That's more organic. But what bothers me about these scenarios is that they held it for so long, like Music Lovers pointing out, in a blackmail file until they found either her contract inconvenient, or that BlackRock, who owns the show, doesn't want her helping actual families in the city keep their homes because they want people to go into foreclosure so they can buy them up. Maybe that's a possibility. That's what it sounds like to me anyways. It could be part of it. Yeah. But to hold it for 4 years and drop it. The other part that I'm really disappointed in is how the zombie normies will take their marching orders. I wonder if this would have any legs if it was just released on its own. Yeah, right. Like the SD card has to go in. Yeah, last week it was Ukraine. This week it's
Nicole Curtis.
It's fart knocker.
Yeah,
it's fart knocker. Right? Yeah. So, you know, and it'd be different if she said the N-word to somebody but this has another word attached to it at the front, which is kind of funny, you know, fart. I've never heard of anybody going full racial mode and using fart N-word together. That's not very common.
No,
that's a very strange way to say it. So I find the whole thing suspect. And what is truly disappointing is the NPCs and how they take their command. They will fabricate, you know, any kind of outrage that they want. What's this gal's name again? Nicole something?
Nicole Curtis.
And you don't know her personally, but you know,
I've been around her before. I've been around her. Yeah. You know, like I said, the same high school, different years. I don't know her personally. I never had a conversation with her. But
you've never heard anything bad about her. You've always heard good about her, right? She's always a nice person.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look, if you're in business, you do have run-ins with people disagreements around town. Oh, this bill didn't get paid, or you know, silly stuff. This was the wrong color of the house, and this is stuff like that. Nothing like this though here. Let me see. Music lovers.
Yeah, I've never heard
knocker. I've heard it before. Is fart knocker a super local term? I feel like it might have been. I never heard it. Well, it's like saying, "Dang it, or damn it, or the S word. Shit, I dropped my brush. Can you grab it for me, please? Or something like that. Yeah, fart knocker. Yeah, like like Beavis and Butthead term. Yeah, it's similar to that. That's Evan said that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I obviously, like, she either ticked somebody off, they found her contract inconvenient, they didn't want her helping poor families. I mean, the list goes on, but to hold it for 4 years and then suddenly act outraged is so disingenuous. And for the people who are acting outraged over this, I call BS on them too. In fact, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say you're a bunch of phony liars. You would not be outraged by this if you were not told to be outraged by this.
Right.
I just don't see it. But now on the other hand, I'm going to go against Nicole for a second here. I don't know her. I have no opinion of her. I don't watch the show. This is not a bias. It's just from the cuff. Unfortunately, she crawled in bed with the devil. You think that you're going to get into TV on any level and not have this type of potential where they're going to use you as a sacrificial, beast at some point?
There's always that potential, man.
Always that potential. And I'm sorry that this happened to Nicole, but I mean, she crawled in bed with the devil. And when you least expect it, those people will betray you in a heartbeat. They are not good people. They have no intention of ever being good people. You are disposable to them. You might want to just count your losses and go away. Hopefully this doesn't affect your personal life in any way where your family's threatened or anything goofy like that. But you might just want to count your losses and go away. Whether this is right or not, you are in bed tangling with the beast, and they're diabolical, and they will sacrifice anybody that gets in their way for any reason.
Yeah, true. Sorry. That is true. And the bad thing is too now, it's popped up, this whole story. I mean, the headlines all over social media, from not just locally here, but all over the place. Even the Hodge twins talked about it earlier today. I saw that they posted about, and like, man, and they're two black guys, and they're like, would you guys please knock it off with this and go look at exactly what she said and how it was done. She didn't call this word to anybody, right? So they're on her side, because they're trying to cancel her out. She's a mother. She's got a couple young ones. She's got one older kid.
Is she openly conservative or anything?
No, she doesn't talk about any of that stuff. She doesn't talk about any of that stuff, whether left or right. No, she doesn't. She leaves all that stuff out, right?
I hope she made good money, and I hope she banked it, and I think she should just ride off in the sunset. But
yeah,
it's sad. It is sad.
Yeah, it is.
Stupid,
her
sad.
passion. But here's the thing too. Around the small town over there, you think about all these little different chat rooms that are in these towns and all that, but they're really getting on her. So I'm hoping there's not a situation where, she goes into one of these stores or establishment or restaurant or whatever it is around here, and people start getting on her. I don't want that to happen. I mean,
I don't either.
Again, these people are vicious vipers, though, is what I'm telling you, on the keyboards. I don't know if they're going to be like that in real life, but she was not that. She might have had disagreements with people about, certain contracts and what they're doing at the house or whatever, but she was not a vicious person like this to say that word to a person, which she did not do. She just,
to every one of her finger pointing accusers, I wonder what would happen if we followed you around with a camera.
Boom.
What would we get out of your mouth?
Or me and you, even.
Yeah, anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody. It's so. I don't know, man. I feel bad for her, but at the same time, it's like I'm not saying, I don't care. I'm just saying, man, it's tough out there with these types of people. They will skewer you at the drop of a hat. They don't care. And it's jealousy a lot of times too. She might have people that are piling on because they're jealous of the deal that she got. I think that there's, I can't help but think that what you alluded to is really that it could be at the root of this too, is if she's actually helping people, if she's actually creating unity in her community in Detroit by helping people of different races and religions keep their homes, that's peaceful. That's love. And they don't like that. They want division and hatred. Yeah. Right. So, and it's funny because that's another thing. Going back to Epstein just for a second, if the level of racism that we see towards non-Jews, non-Ashkenazi Jews in the Epstein files is ironic, because who's always constantly being lectured about being racist? We are.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Constantly being lectured for being racist, but in reality, it's projection, right? The devil's a projector, and and it's what they're guilty of. And what's ironic is this stupid show is probably behind the scenes more racist than we could ever imagine towards all the goyim out there, all the people that they don't like, a bunch of, right? And they're the ones going to put a little, scarlet letter on her jacket and say, you are a bad person. Isn't that ironic coming from a network of probably pedophiles and sexual deviants?
Yes, for sure. There's some good comments here. Evan says, so many diehard lefties I knew coming up were full out racist behind closed doors. Yes.
Amen.
Exactly
Totally
what
agree.
you're talking about, Outcast.
Totally
now,
agree.
Here is a, what's this other one I have here? Ms. Melody. I'll put this up on the screen. I got to copy and paste it over here because Rumble doesn't integrate like that. They're really annoying. Right here. Ms. Melody says, out of all the things they could be outraged by, Fart Knocker isn't the one that jumps to the front of the line. Right. But see, I think they had to get rid of the contract. I think they wanted to get rid of that contract and part ways.
Yes. Obviously, they held on to it until the time was right.
Yeah, they were waiting and waiting. Now that is vicious and what's the deceitful?
Yeah,
I don't know. Diabolical.
Diabolical, planned out. I mean,
right. They could have easily just because the only people in the room was her. What I think was a boom guy, audio. The cameraman was sitting right there, and then another guy was right behind her, one of the helpers or whatever. There's only like 4 people right there immediately. They're just filming it themselves in the house somewhere, right? And yeah, it could have just been lopped off. It was 3 seconds worth of could have been locked off and just gone away forever. But no, they got to keep every bit of it, and they'll comb through it later, just like they're going to probably do to ours at some point.
It goes to the blackmail room, right?
Yeah. Yep. For sure. I don't know, man. I'm getting out there, and I'm actually texting with one of her friends right now on the phone, and I just showed a picture of what we are talking about right now, and she's laughing. She says, "Oh," and sometimes she says "fart digger," which she also says from time to time. So she was getting "fart knocker" and "fart digger." While she was saying it, it comes together, and it made a word that it was very unfortunate. But she said, she's just kind of laughing and said, "Yeah, she does call us fart knocker." Yeah, go ahead.
I could see that getting jumbled up in your vocabulary as you're struggling with something in the middle of
yes, me too. How many guys have you or how many times have you been in a situation where you're talking to a customer or a client and you're trying to say goodbye and I'll see you later at the same time, and it comes out with a jumbled mess? I've done it a million times. And I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm sorry. I don't know what I just said there, but I'm sorry. I'll see you later and goodbye. So go ahead.
A funny one like that. When I was a teenager. Now, the reason I laugh about this is because I don't think I could have orchestrated this if I planned it out, but my brain did it. Right. I had 2. Let's see. What, you want to read
Taylor
that?
Smith says, I saw a black guy comment that he wasn't going to watch our sports team this year because it was too white. But that's not racist, right? It's so dumb. It's just so dumb.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
But
go ahead.
I had 2 buddies I used to skateboard with, Robbie and Scott.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, "Hey, we need to call Scobby and Rot."
There you go. Same thing. Same thing.
But I could have never planned that. My brain did that. My brain, did that. I couldn't have like, what would I call them if I intertwined their names? I mean, it just, and I cracked up laughing because I was like, wow, that was weird. My brain totally switched their names around,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, you get in those situations. I've done it a lot when I'm with clients or whatever. And again, it's just hi, goodbye, and see you later. I mix them up sometimes.
Hey, and some of these the comments about, the basketball comments and stuff, which are extremely valid, that is reminding me here too, is that they really have a desire to have a race war, religious war, culture war of some sort, right? They're desirous of this could feed into that.
There you go. Yes. Yep.
And it's also like, seeing what they can get whipped up from this, to see how far they can get, how many legs, but also don't underestimate how suspect the timing is when we're blowing the lid off of Epstein's files.
Yeah.
And now they're going to go make an issue out of this word. The most racist people we're learning, being proved right in the Epstein files, the most racist people on the planet, right? The people that think they have this magic bloodline and everybody else is cattle to them. They're going to accuse us as being racist because somebody said some goofy words while they were stressed out while they were trying to paint. It's
I know, man. It's crazy. It's wild. I don't like it. Taylor Smith, she says, I have tongue twisters all day, all the time. Yeah, me too. Yes. Me too. Evan's got, he says, I had a coworker sneak up and scare me. I got caught between get off of me and get out of here. Ended up with get out of me. We were both in stitches. That's exactly what happened. Yes. She was just, it happens. I've said goofy stuff on here before too. That I had to, bite my tongue or, sorry or laugh or whatever. But listen, do you remember? So best of luck. I don't know. Keep an eye out. I know, Outcast, you haven't heard that story of Nicole Curtis, but keep an eye out. Let's see what happens. I don't want, she's not going to get the show back. Obviously, that's not a thing. That's HGTV got what they wanted. Okay. But that doesn't mean her business has to end. She can still keep helping people and keep doing the good things that she has done around here. She's going to have to dig in deeper a little bit. So I'm hoping locally, wherever she goes, if she's run out of this town, best of luck to wherever she goes. Nobody deserves this much viciousness and attack. And hopefully she's not run out of town by these local fart knockers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, best of luck to you, Nicole. We've never met, but I think we know who, I know who you are. So we have mutual friends all over the place. Yeah.
Of all the hills to die on, there's a bunch of demonstrators out there or people want to make somebody's life miserable over fart knocker is just ridiculous. It's just like, go get a life.
Yep.
That is stupid.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember a few weeks back, I think on one of the morning shows, one of the Thursday morning shows, I played that girl and she started crying. She was talking to the camera, talking about the lie of feminism. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. It's powerful.
Can you bring that up for me? Just a little reminder. I want to play something else that I have here. Can you bring that up to the people? Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, we played a video of a young woman, and she said that when she was in college, she had a boyfriend that she was, it was a good relationship. And he said, hey, what do you think after college? We get married and have kids and you can stay home and I'm going to work and you could
raise the family. Yeah.
The whole traditional. And she was like, no, I was very insulted by that at the time because I thought I'm going to go to college and I'm going to go get into my career and make money at it. And I'm going to be successful because I was told that's what I wanted to do. And then she starts to say, and I regret it. I wish I could go back and take it all back. I'm in my career path. I hate it. And then she starts bawling, and it's gut wrenching to see that she was sold a feminist lie, and she went into her, whatever her profession was, whatever degree was in, and it was completely unrewarding. And she wished she had the guy back, and she wished she had the family, and she wished she had the trad life. Yeah. Yeah. So you got another one there?
I got another one. Yeah. And if you guys want to go look at that one and watch it or listen to it, whatever you want, it was on episode 254. It was the Rise and Shine January 29th episode, the Rise and Shine morning show. So here's what we have now. I found another one, and she just posted this not too long ago. Some of you guys might have seen this because it is, I don't know. It's out there. It's crazy. Check this out, Outcast.
Okay, I'm going to make this quick because I have to go into a meeting. I have 3 meetings today. I've been in the corporate life for almost half my life. For context, I'm 40 years old. I have 2 children who are 11 and 7. And I fell for it. I fell for this thing where, go to college, get your degree. If you want to have kids, you can do it all. You can have a career, you can have kids, you can just do everything. Well, I don't want to do everything. I don't want to do that anymore. I fell for that shit. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for that shit. I want to take my kids to school. I want to pick them up from school. I want to be there when they get home. I want to chaperone for them, volunteer at school. I just want to go to the gym, clean my house, do laundry, go to the grocery store, and just be home. So do me a favor. Do not fall for that shit. Because it is not worth it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't do it. Be home. Find a way to be home. Be with your family. Be with your kids. Just, it's not worth it. None of this is worth it. So.
Her name is Ashley Wishman. And that was from her TikTok. Now, I happened to look at that. and go to the comments. And there was a lot of people that totally agree with her and understand the lie of feminism now. And I'm going to bring it up to our audience right here, how that makes you guys feel and what do you guys think about this. But there was also, in her comments were a ton, Outcast, of the most vicious, vile, insane, leftist pollution coming at her. It was absolutely wild because she wanted to stay home and raise a family.
The Bible says you will know them by their fruit. And if those comments were as toxic as you say they are, then you know that is not of any place good. That's not good fruit that it's bearing. So we can dismiss those comments as small-minded bots, small-minded social, even if they're not literal bots, they're NPCs who can't have a family for some reason. They're jealous and mean about it. Maybe, I don't know, just throwing that out there. Hats off to this young woman and the other young woman for their honesty. There are so many people that are so filled with pride, they will never admit when they're wrong about something. And it takes a lot of courage to go on social media and set yourself up to be attacked. I don't do it. I don't like it. I don't like going on social media and putting my stuff out there because I don't want to hear the negativity. I just don't. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't need it in my life. So I don't do it. So if the fact that these people are doing this and subjecting themselves to the ridicule of these toxic monsters on the left that act like this, more power to them. I hope that they just brush it off, knowing that they are loved by God. But like I said, God bless them in their honesty. God bless them in their humility. We need more people to be honest about the lies that they've been told. There's so many people that stick by the lie for their pride. And, I think recognizing that you've been lied to, like these people are doing, is the first step to recovering your life.
Yeah, I do too. Excellent way to say it, Outcast. Perfect. Evans says, "Oh man, that's awful. I'm glad she's out there being completely blunt about it." Yeah, that's the biggest thing is you're making it so other women can also tell how they feel about it, that they were lied to, and they see it now later. It's wild. Music Lover says, "I have no desire to climb the work ladder just to see how high I can get. I'd rather be home doing projects." Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I agree. I agree. And I'm going to tell you something too. There's some funny old sayings. I think they're from Will Rogers or somebody. There's one that says, "The higher up the ladder you get, the more your ass shines."
There you go. Yes, it does.
And another one too is the higher up the ladder you get, the closer to the door you are. And the other one I've heard too is the higher up your ladder you get, the more knives are in your back.
Yeah, there you go.
All those I think are true. Those are all true.
Oh, it's crazy. Taylor Smith, she says, "I wish I could have that life, but that's not the journey I took. I know God will still work things out for good,
Amen.
both for him and me." Yes, your story isn't written yet.
And that isn't for everybody. God has a different plan for everybody. That's the whole thing. I mean, it's everybody's got a different journey, and I don't.
The thing is, this whole lie of feminism was brought upon us by the same people I was talking about earlier, Outcast. It's the same people that are doing it, that have done it. They're the ones that have upset the whole thing, man.
It's this
divide and conquer.
Culture. It's an all or nothing culture too. It's like, it's not like there's, like I've said early in the last episode, I think it talked about common sense, common ground. You know what that means to me in this situation? It means that if you are a person who doesn't want that life, you don't have to have it.
Right.
You can go and get a job and not have kids or whatever you want to do and be that. That's fine. If you are the person that does want it, that should be an option too. Mm-hmm. But what they do is they go 1950s, everybody has to do it this way. And then we go the other direction. 2024, nobody should do it that way. We should all do it this way. It's like, why can't we have the freedom of choice? Right?
For your own body, for your own whatever you're doing. Yes. Yep.
I'm not in the mood to condemn anybody that wants to be a businesswoman. I know that's good. More power to you if that's what you want.
Yep.
But what these women are lamenting is the fact that they were sold an idea that this was the way to go. It's the only way to go. Anything other than this is diminished, or has less value in the world. Everybody has value, no matter what journey you're on. If you're not meant to have children or be married, that's fine. That's another thing I feel bad about, with my single friends. They're being sold this idea that your life is not complete unless you have a spouse. I'm sorry, Paul doesn't say that in the Bible. Paul says, "I would prefer you not be married and just be married to Christ." But since but some of you, everybody's journey is a little different. personally, I think that God blessed me with a helpmate. My wife is, we balance each other out and we work together.
Yep.
There's been times because of social lies, I thought because we didn't have kids, oh man, I screwed up. I don't know what's going to, this is, if I'm going to be really happy, will I ever be happy if I don't have children? And God has spoke to my heart. He said, that's not what I had planned for you. I had something else planned for you. There's plenty of people out there having kids that shouldn't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now
that's not a gauge of success or happiness.
Yeah, no, I like exactly what you're saying. And that this whole lie of feminism thing, like I said, it was created before to actually remove that that choice that a person has when they're growing up. Just like you stated there perfectly, Outcast. This whole feminism push was to do a lot of things to break down the family and do a lot of things to create 50% more taxes coming into, to the state. There was a whole lot of this that went on. Look how they pushed cigarettes to women because they weren't smoking at the time. Well, a nice campaign from the 1920s with a bunch of these women that were, hired to go say these words and dress like this and get in front of these big lights of New York City and look all fancy. You're going to smoke Virginia Slims now. That was the big thing for them. It's all been done. It's all been some sort of a machine, a psyop type machine that changes the way people think about themselves and says, hey, I got to look better than the Joneses next door. Go ahead, Outcast. Set your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to also illustrate, we've probably covered this on the show before, but I got to say it again just to remind anybody who's hearing this for the first time. If you want to have fun, go look back at a back catalog of movies from the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
Kramer versus Kramer, 9 to 5. I mean, you can go down this whole list of all these movies that you can tell there is 100% social engineering to try to push this narrative that women needed to divorce their husbands and go to work.
Yep.
And why did they do that? Because in 1971, the year that you and I were born, Jesse.
I was 70.
Okay, you were 70. I'm 71. In that time period, what happened? They sold us out and put us on the petrodollar.
Yep.
Right. And the dollar started deflating at an exponential rate, and you could not support a family with a single income father anymore. You had to have, and they got to double their tax revenue overnight by sending men and women to work. And how did they do it? Through the messaging machine, which is Hollywood and television. All in the Family, all these shows. If you go back and watch these very dated shows, you can see how calculating they were trying to sell people at that time this narrative that you wanted to go to work and your family. They didn't say it like this, but pretty much it was like, your family be damned. This is about you and your career, is what they said. This is a tangent. Bear with me. I was with a customer today. God bless her. Bless her heart. Her husband has turned out to be a very angry person who never took care of himself, and he's slowly dying. Chain smoker, COPD, can barely walk. He can barely walk from A to B without huffing and puffing. I mean, he's going to die. He has destroyed his life. She chose to stay with him. Most people would have left. Now, you might say she's afraid to leave, or no, I don't think so. I think she is a godly, courageous woman who said, honestly, if I left, he wouldn't be able to survive without me. And it would be hard on my kids. My kids would be expected to step in and take care of him and his bad behavior. She's taken one for the team. And I told her, I said, sister, God sees you. He sees you in your long suffering, and he sees the sacrificing that you made. Lesser people would have left. Right. I'm not saying that you should stick around in abusive marriages. I mean, I know every situation is a little different, but sometimes you forego what you think your happiness is going to be for trying to do the right thing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep. Sacrifice for men versus for the man. When I say the man above.
Yeah.
There's perspectives on all this stuff, and it all, what it comes down to is all the social engineering, like you said, out of Hollywood, out of movies. I talked about Dolly Parton before and Lily Tomlin and how they had that big push. And now look at, when Dolly Parton was part of the whole COVID PSYOP team out there telling people to go out there and get, she's not America's sweetheart. No, she might be in some people's eyes, but not at all in mine. I've seen for decades how bad an evil person she is. And at some point, you guys are going to figure that out. The ones that don't see it yet, you will. There's things about her that are not good. And she is, look at her. She's still, what is she, in her 80s now? And she is being pushed by that machine, boy.
Pushed.
The social engineering machine. And she is being pushed to do things to people who really look up to her. And it showed, and it was glaring during the whole, scamdemic years. Just complete insanity.
Yeah. They are cramming her down our throat. I see it all the time. And I'm like, what is going on with this? And I don't know I don't know a ton about Dolly and if there's any conspiracies around her or not. Maybe I've heard a few things, but I know plastic surgery can do amazing things, but she looks bizarrely young.
She's getting younger. It's crazy.
She's getting younger. Yeah. I wonder how many.
Hey, listen, I know. I hear you, brother. Let's go into the satanic panic, the left's satanic panic. And we could actually, let's tee that up and get talking about that because, we're starting to get long in the tooth on some things. But yeah, go ahead. The left's satanic panic.
Okay. So I was in an office this past week and with two liberal women. And one was a self-proclaimed socialist and that kind of thing. And
sounds like a good time.
Oh, it's a very delicate dance, but I try to find common ground with everybody. So I was talking about the right left paradigm and trying to reach them in different ways. I try to meet people where they're at. I don't want to like butt heads with everybody. But at one point, of course, they're clamoring for the Epstein files. They're excited because they believe Trump is in them. And I said, and I kind of laughed and I said, yeah, if whoever's involved, I hope that everybody's brought to justice. I said, but you might be a little surprised how many of your heroes are in there too. And they're like, oh, well, that's okay. But then the one girl says, the real problem is here. And I think that they have me sussed. They have me figured out. And so they're dancing with me a little bit too. She goes, what the real problem is that all this Epstein stuff is creating a satanic panic. Now that's a term from the 70s and 80s, when Christian evangelists were pointing out satanic music, messaging in the music. They were pointing out the satanic coding that's in the Dungeons and Dragons game that was a big fad back in the 80s.
Yep.
And
it was
then
all there.
Left, it was all there. It really was. It was no joke. And the left deemed it satanic panic, and they got people to just like Stephen Colbert calling Pizzagate a debunked conspiracy theory. They try to get you to shelve the concept with shame by shaming it, right?
Yeah.
But it was funny. I didn't parse my words. It rolled off just like butter. And I watched this person's entire countenance change, and they had zero to say. She said, "Yeah, so I really just dislike how this is creating a satanic panic again." And I said, Hillary Clinton said she wanted to sacrifice a chicken to Moloch, and we both know, if you're reading the files, that a chicken is code for child. Okay, and she was just like. So here's the dilemma. This is an interesting dilemma, and I think we're going to see a huge downplay of these files coming very soon from the left. There is, on the left, paganism is extremely trendy. They think that they're very edgy, but I'm going to call it out for what it is. It is trendy. Saging your home and crystals and all the and tarot cards and all the stuff that these generally leftists love to play with, and think that and call themselves, I'm spiritual. Oh yeah, okay. They are going to find the satanic level of the contents of those emails so inconvenient that they're going to start trying to blame everything or trying to deflect or either skirt around or downplay these Epstein files. You watch, they're going to change their tone. The only reason that most leftists are into these files is because they think it's a get Trump, which, like I said, if Trump's in there, so be it. I don't care. I'm not a Trump sycophant. I'm not going to cry in my soup. That's their only motivation, though. These people were silent when it was implicating their heroes like Biden. They're only interested when it. So just be on the lookout for that term satanic panic. I also saw some messages being shared from leftist occultists saying that the Epstein Island thing is a symptom of Christianity because Christians take communion, where you take the body of.
I saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
I mean, if you want to talk about desperation, so we're on a wild ride, friends. Watch these people. They are going to be spiraling, trying to figure out how to acknowledge that this is a bad thing and it's shocking and it's dismaying, but they're going to be very concerned that well, I just read tarot cards. I don't believe in eating children, so it can't be anybody that I'm friends with. It can't be anything I support. They're in denial of the fact that they are in the occult, and it is directly related to this, Right. So if anybody, if you come across anybody that calls it satanic panic, I'm giving you this information right now. Just say to them, "Oh, really? Then why was Hillary Clinton talking about sacrificing a chicken to Moloch?" And then they're just going to look at you like this person. They just looked at me, and then you could say, "Why was Jeffrey Epstein's bank account called Moloch?" They're just going to look at you. Don't let them get away with it. Do not let them get away with it.
Yeah. Over here on pill.net, Sir Lurks a lot says satanic panic sounds like a moral majority term. Do you know what that means, Outcast?
I'll take some insights. Give me.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm asking you a moral majority term. But listen, we also learned that Jeffrey Epstein's DNA is scattered throughout all the COVID jabs too. Did we already say that earlier when we were talking about him? So, that's another thing too. People have to come to grips with that. It's wild. It is so wild of what is happening. And the things that we were trying to say years ago, Outcast, why didn't people want to listen to us? Why did they call us names saying, no, that's just, crazy talk. Some people that we still talk to now said, okay, give me more info. And some people did actually go into it, and now they're riding with us.
Well, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but think about it like this. They knew that all their favorite celebrities and all their favorite politicians were made up the majority of the list.
Right.
Now, there's people on the right in there too, for sure. But it was going to take down their heroes, first of all. Second of all, you go to the LGBTQ website, and they were pushing a new concept called MAPS, means minor attracted persons. Right. They were looking to justify adults loving children. Okay. So none of this stuff fits their narrative.
Yep.
But when they see the depth of the depravity and the evil of it, even they are going to be forced to face it. I'm hopeful that a lot of them are going to turn, like we have several of us follow Craft to Christ, and also Angela Scafidi. These are people that were in witchcraft who are now born again Christian. Hopefully, we're going to see an influx of that happening as you see what unchecked evil with unchecked power, what it can produce, which is absolute destruction of human life on a massive scale.
Yeah.
But this whole thing is going to be inconvenient for a lot of people on the left, and they're going to be scrambling, trying to figure out how to justify who they support and what they believe while looking at the Epstein thing. If that makes sense.
Yep, for sure.
Don't let them get away with it. Don't let them.
Well, here's Sir Lurkslot also says the moral majority is an organization led by an evangelist named Jerry Falwell, which he didn't fall well. Yeah, so we know what that means. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's a great way. I remember there was a lot of negative context to satanic panic, and the left resurrecting that old term once again solidifies my theory. They're going to be desperate to diffuse this thing because all roads point back to Satan worship, right? And paganism. It doesn't lead to Christians taking communion on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a pathetic stretch.
It is wild too. All music lovers, if an adult is attracted to children, they need Jesus and therapy and sometimes prison. Yeah. All the above. Amen. For sure.
Yeah.
But this thing is so big, these files is so big. It's not just about, it's so much more. It's not just about, as the media likes to say, taking prostitutes and, having fun with parties with prostitutes. It's that, that's just media cover right there. That's all that is. That's just cover for what's actually going on. And they know the normies will just take that as, oh, that's all it was. All right, good. Who won the game? What time's the game on? Oh, what should I buy now? What should I buy next? This kind of normie kind of stuff. They're not realizing. And I think what's going to happen is they will start realizing what they were doing to the kids, the eating, the sacrificing, the raping, tie it into banking system, tie it into pharmaceuticals, tie it into world finance, tie it into corporate structure, tie it into bigger things, ESG kind of things, tie it into, United Nations social sustainable development and the Agenda 2030 goals. It's tied into absolutely everything, including your media, your entertainment, your sports. It touches everything, Outcast. Churches. It's got it all.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound sketchy at first, but I'm going to shed light on it. It's tied into the art culture, the arts.
Yep.
So since art prices are arbitrary and you can charge whatever you want, when you see a picture of Tony Podesta with a twisted sculpture or piece of artwork that you think, look at that hideous thing, who would want that in their house?
Yeah.
Not only is that twisted artwork symbolic of their twisted soul, but it's also it's what they paid for, overpaid for, when they paid somebody else off for children.
Yeah.
So not only it ends up, that piece of disgusting art becomes a trophy for what they bought with it. Yep. Because they didn't pay, they paid millions of dollars for this hunk of ugly art. It's not because they like ugly art. It's the ugly art is symbolic as a receipt of what they purchased.
Like a thank you and a receipt of goods delivered. Right. You know what that and I think I know what the artwork you're talking about, where that is twisted, that human is twisted. You know what that's from? You know what that's a depiction from? That's the way that Jeffrey Dahmer left some of his victims. When the police found them, that's what they looked like. So why would Tony Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager in 2016, have that artwork hanging, a sculpture, a redo of that crime scene, hanging in all chrome or whatever that metal was, in his house, in his brother's house? Isn't that crazy? Now, not only artwork is a way to pay it off, but books. When these people who are not authors, they're just people, getting caught doing things and taking payment. Well, you know what? You're going to not only do this for us, we're going to deliver these things, but we're going to have you're going to write a book, and you're going to make a good amount of money if you're going to write this book. And millions of dollars from these books that are not written by authors. They're just payoffs. But that's a good legal way to wash your hands, absolve any tax, any goofy thing, right? They do books and do art. I'm glad you brought that up, Outcast. That's another piece of the puzzle. This gigantic puzzle. It's enormous, you guys. It goes into what else? The childbirth, everything. It goes into absolutely everything.
It goes into the story about the school photography company.
Okay, go into that. Yep, I remember that and hearing that years ago.
I don't know if I'm capable of explaining it as good as really graceful can.
Yeah, we can just bump into it a little bit. That's all right.
But I mean, they were documenting everybody's children. That company that when you get your school pictures taken,
yeah,
and it goes into a huge database, and it happens to go right back to probably right back to Robert Maxwell and.
Oh yeah, that whole crew of the Ancestry.com, the 23andMe, and all the DNA stuff. Yeah, and let's throw in with Google. All right, Google, who was for a long time run by the sister of was it 23andMe? That's the Google one, but sister to
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, no, to YouTube, I believe.
Oh,
there is a relationship there. But anyway, let's go into that. And what they do there is, of course, using public school. They get them on these Google Docs and these Google tablets. And what they want to do is follow and watch and document from cradle to grave these kids. Now, we're also talking about the GATE program, that gifted and talented program from the 70s and 80s. That's a little bit of that is still thrown in there, along with this picture taking. And along with all those silly contests, when you AI yourself and do things on Facebook where you got to have your face involved to put these filters on and all that stuff, all those apps, that's also a way to document and watch, especially when it's young kids all the way as they get older, because they're documenting their face changes as you grow. Our beards are getting grayer. Our hair is getting, lighter or, losing, whatever it is. They're documenting that through all these apps and what they're doing. and with these childhood pictures. All of them have been booked, cataloged, and put in places. Throw in Wayfair. Throw in, with that highly expensive furniture that had kids' names on them. Let me see. What were you pointing at out here, Outcast?
Oh, just that Evan was saying that even his mom is talking about the school picture company, and that's how the way the normies are waking up like crazy.
Yeah,
he's using his mom as gauge, and it's true that now I am concerned about something. Now we're talking about waking up for a second here. I am a little concerned that are they giving us this disclosure to make us lose faith in the system so thoroughly that we will submit to some global governance AI system?
So
are they going to sacrifice these millionaires, confiscate their wealth, give us our pound of flesh, and then the normies will cheer as they bring on an AI or a one world governance?
I like what you said, because that leads right into the technocracy plan for the 1930s, Outcast. The plan of that 1930s, which was Elon's grandfather, he was into all that. He was one of the guys that were into all that. The plan was to use all these scientific and engineering style governance versus using politicians in the future. That we got to get rid of all the politicians, and we can run your system of governance worldwide through this system of technocracy. But the thing that they lacked was all the technology that we have now. The AIs, the smart meters, absolutely every bit of smart tech that you own is all part of this program. All the body stuff that you wear, the smart watches, the monitors, and all that stuff, you should not be wearing any of that stuff, man. That's all tracking devices. It's all keeping tabs on what you're doing. These phones are recording our gait when we walk. They know every bit of it. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably painting a picture of you have the 1850s where you're not tracked at all, versus today where every single movement that you do, your heartbeat, your breathing rate, your steps, everything you're doing, the gait of the way you move, your voice is being analyzed. You're giving them pictures of your face as you change. They got it all. What do you want? That comes down to you guys, in your personal thing, but it's all part of this whole program. And these people, these Epstein people, they're all part of it, Outcast. But I like what you brought there, because I think that is a really good, convenient way for them to say, hey, look, okay, we can't trust these politicians anymore. Boom. We're going to dust off our old 1930s technocracy and marry it with today's technology. And boom, here's your new system of governance. Now, you don't have to sit there and vote for these lying politicians, because you're going to be run by scientific data and engineering. Isn't that a lot better? Trust the science. That's the next step. And that's 2030 coming at us.
Wow. Yeah, that hit me like a ton of bricks this weekend when I saw that article about that million satellite thing that's going to put in the sky to create this technological grid that's going to be in the sky. And I was like, oh, while we're talking about Epstein, they're rolling that out.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh man, I can see it now. They're letting us see this Epstein stuff so we can unite against purging us of this old system to accept the new.
Yeah, make us beg for it.
Make us beg for it.
Make us beg for the next global governance program. Evan says, I was listening to Sam Triple earlier, and he made a point. They might be letting all these old guys go down with the ship, so they can bring in the new crop of sicko overlords. Yeah, and it's going to be less of them. It's going to be the new hotness of a new style of, I don't know, global. Look, we just had the G20, and the Bilderberg group is coming up. The Davos, all these people, they're all involved with this stuff. And that is the way that they're planning they're making their plans for our futures. Okay. So they allow us to think that we have some sort of freedom. How do they do that? And choice. They do that through voting. Here, you guys can vote for these two. It's your choice. Well, who gave us these choices? Remember when the DNC just removed Joe Biden and threw in Kamala Harris? Who voted for her? Who voted for her to be put in place of Joe Biden there? Not one person.
Nope.
Why aren't the leftists all upset about that? No kings, Outcast. No kings.
That's a whole. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's another rabbit hole. We don't have to go down
that leads to the point of, why is nothing working properly? Well, nothing's working properly because they have not allowed anybody of any real talent or real character to excel or climb in politics. The only people they allow to be involved is people that they can control, which are like Kamala Harris, greedy people with brains full of mush. They're not. So
very
we're
malleable.
Being governed, yeah. We're being governed by incompetent people all the time. And we're like, why is everything broken? Why do we have given all these crummy choices? Why is nothing working right? Well, no kings, but they were ready to bow to the queen. Yeah, that's true.
Music,
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I want to go back. I got ADD. I'm going to jump back for a second, back on Robert Maxwell.
Yeah.
Something that was pointed out to me today, and I don't know how I missed it. So he owned McGraw-Hill, which is the textbook school, the textbook company that supplies schools books.
Yep.
That's interesting enough as it is. You got a triple agent, MI6, Mossad, CIA agent, whose daughter ends up being a procurer of young women for Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, just look at the big.
And a submarine pilot, she is.
Yeah, that
why?
Too.
Why?
Yep. Well, because they can transport children underwater, right, from Haiti to their island, right? For example.
Yeah, and come to find out, there's quite a few people with politicians or connected to politicians with submarine pilot licenses and ham licenses. Now, look, I know old school fellers and myself included. Well, I don't have my ham license yet, but I have ham radio, and I like to mess with that stuff. That's deemed old technology. But why are these deep state and these politician kind of people? There was somebody in Congress just, I don't know, a couple years ago. I forgot who it was. I forgot her name. She might be on the Supreme Court, but she was conversing with somebody, got caught by ham radio. I'm trying to remember who that was. I'm sure somebody down in the messages will know. But yeah, she was down there using her ham radio to connect and make plans and do things for people. Go ahead, Outcast. Sorry, I threw you off there.
Just a little detail though. So the other name for McGraw-Hill is Pergamum Press. So Pergamum, Turkey, is interestingly enough, in the book of Revelation, it says that the seat of Satan is in Pergamum. Mm-hmm. Well, in Pergamum, Turkey is a temple to Zeus. So it is widely believed by people who like to dig a little deeper than the average that Zeus is the Greek name for Satan. He is the king of the fallen angels. Okay. Yep. So isn't it interesting that Robert Maxwell, the head of CIA, Mossad and MI6, dirty beyond dirty, his printing company is called Pergamum Press, the seat of Satan.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the public, they called themselves McGraw-Hill and provided textbooks so they could twist and distort our history that they give to our students to read.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we were fed garbage growing up, is because people like this guy were creating our textbooks. We're behind it.
Yeah. It goes so far back. Who was on the tarmac with Bill Clinton in the plane, that secret meeting? The black lady. Do you guys remember that? They had the meeting and
trying to remember.
Oh, somebody's going to know. She was either a judge or she was going to be a judge, but she was in politics somewhere. She held a seat somewhere, probably in Congress. I forgot her name now. Not Rice. I think she's the one that was using ham radios to talk to people outside of the country. So her transmissions wouldn't get caught. But Outcast, what you were talking about with the Pergamum Press and all that, and the books and McGraw, it's like they get away with doing this stuff out in the public because we are so dumbed down to recognize what the heck they're doing. Now, that's not just with textbooks. That's with everything. That's with the shape of these football stadiums, the shape of, what they tell us are, look at those big flat mountaintops. They're just rocks, right? They're just mountains. They're just flat. No, don't look anymore. The shape of things all around the Earth, the shape of the Earth, they have everything covered. Like you said in the very beginning, we are living in this Truman Show thing. This is truly the Truman Show that we're in. We just haven't realized it yet. You know why? Because the camera hasn't fell down and hit us yet.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just looking here. I have so many different clips that I was going to bring up on the show tonight, and I kind of want to find this one because you were talking about that.
About satellites.
Well, let's talk about the satellites. You know what? I might just leave this until next week. The satellites. Sure. Think about this. Now, you're talking about these new satellites that are going up. Well, just a few years ago, was it SpaceX? It's Elon Musk company put up how many satellites then? Remember, these are all low orbiting satellites. They're hanging from balloons. Remember when they didn't want us to know what the balloon that was a balloon up there? Remember that? And the satellite was hanging from it and it had all the sun the solar things. The solar what do you call it? The collectors for charging
solar shields.
No, solar panels.
Solar panel. Yeah.
Yeah, the solar panels are up there. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That's how all the satellites are. They're all hanging from balloons. Who is the biggest purchaser of helium in the world?
SpaceX?
NASA. Why? Well, you got to fill up them balloons. Those balloons are enormous. And then you put all those satellites on them and you send them up there in the middle of the night or, under the cover of some rocket going to nowhere, bouncing off the firmament, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have all these satellites just roaming around in low Earth orbit. And, with the power that they get from the sun, of course they can steer up there and, the atmosphere is very different up there than it is down here. So there's different things can operate totally different down there, but it's still sending those signals back down here. So why are they going to do a whole nother grid? And who's connected to that? Is that connected to the Elon stuff? Is that connected to any previous NASA stuff? There's so much stuff up there flying all around. And, they can bring those things in if they need maintenance or yes, Loretta Lynch. Thank you. It was Loretta Lynch. On the tarmac. I believe she was the one. You guys can look that up. Those, thank you, Music Lover, for finding that. But what are your thoughts on that, Outcast? Because they're all low orbit satellites hanging from balloons.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I can see that for sure. And, what really makes sense to tie it in too is, Elon Musk is making these huge, massive, phallic rocket ships. And they're super high tech and they're bigger than ever and they can't seem to leave the firmament.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't leave orbit. Why? I thought we were so technologically advanced. He's the smartest guy in the world. And we're how many years out from the original lunar landings? And somehow every rocket he launches ends in failure somehow.
Look,
what is going on here?
Yeah. And to throw on top of that, every time they announce, we're going to launch this week. We have a date. We're going to launch. We're launching this. And then you get to about a weekend. They're like, we got to cancel. We're holding it off for another 6 months. There's something came up, whatever it was. And then they redo it 6 months from later. And you get to about a week of it. We got to cancel. Something else going on. So whatever they're launching is just going up and, coming down over there, out of sight. How useful is the Bermuda Triangle to say, Cape Canaveral in Florida. And why do they say that, stay away from the triangle, those three islands, Bermuda Triangle. Don't go in there.
Filled with NASA rubbish. Rubbish.
Right. Yeah. There's so much going on, brother. We're in a rabbit hole right now. We're all over the place. But that's fine. We got to start rolling this thing up and getting out of here. But listen, there's just so much going on in the world. And I just still think that the American divide is being pushed by every little thing, whether it's sports, whether it's news, whether somebody said something, inconvenient for somebody or a contract might be involved. It's just wild. Music Lover throws in here, well, when you lose the moon landing recipe from the 1950s, it's basically impossible to reverse engineer it and figure out how to go over the next 75 years. Yes, exactly. I don't know. We just lost it. It's gone. Remember when that guy said that on that NASA worker? He said, well, unfortunately, we lost the technology. Okay. Yep. Sure you did. Now, remember when there's a whole new batch of astronauts and they were talking, there was some sort of, I don't know, they're like a sit down talk, right? They're wearing their fancy blue, jumpsuits and onesies and stuff with the patches all over them. And they're sitting in the room and one of the guys says, well, when we finally are able to get to the moon, this is part of this whole thing. And people are like, it stopped, it was like a record scratch. And they're pointing like, what do you mean get to the moon? You guys told us you were there in 1969. Well, this guy's saying, here, when we finally get to the moon for the first time, like, what? What'd you say? It's crazy. But has anybody gone back and looked at that old footage? I showed some of that old footage to my kids who are, early 20s now.
Yeah, what they say.
They laughed. They're like, wait a minute. What is this? And I said, that is the stuff that they showed your grandparents, that they went to space or they went to the moon. Yeah, floppy thing on the door. The door wasn't making connections. They're getting their hoses are getting stuck all over the place, and their movements. It's like you can tell that they're on wires. It's crazy. They're like, what the heck is this? I can do this on my computer right now. Like, well, look, that's what the old school boomers bought. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's not all of them now. Not all of them are coming around with that. Yeah, go ahead.
And the irony is we laugh at India showing us.
Oh, that was hilarious.
But what we did is the same kind of version. If you think about it, it's the same concept. It was just done Stanley Kubrick style. You know what I mean? It was just.
I know we had a little bit better, smoother stuff. But have you guys seen that India one? The India landing? When that was just a couple years ago. I saw it. I was like, oh, I got to see this. So I looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way anybody's buying this crap. It is. I could have done that in my barn. Come on, my camera and some candles and stuff. I could have done that. That's craziness.
Well, India must be very corrupt because all of their politicians stood there and cheered and applauded at this video game image that they saw.
I know. It's crazy.
As they gaslit their populace.
Oh man, that was a wild one right there. So,
I as far as the lunar landing, I have an honest question. I'm not saying I know everything. I don't, but it is a genuine question.
Yeah.
I don't buy the story of how could that contraption that was on the moon, which looked like pipe, a bunch of pipe and tinfoil and carbon
and lawn chairs. Yep.
And lawn chairs.
Yep.
And then when it was time to leave, not only was somebody filming when they left, who'd they leave behind to film it? That's the separate thing. But how did that thing get all the way back to Earth?
How did that? Yeah, it was wrapped in gold aluminum foil.
Yeah.
That was kind of floppy and stuff like that. Kind of floppy.
And then it takes off the moon. Yeah, and it had to go 10 Earth lengths away to get back to Earth when you needed a gigantic rocket ship just to get there. I don't know. Maybe
no, dude. No. Listen, we've seen through their crap. We've seen through it. We have technology today that just basically debunks that just on purpose, on basics. It's like, that's completely fake now. I can see it. It's wild. But when you didn't have that kind of technology and you see the movements that they're making, this is nuts, man. This whole moon landing thing is wild. It's off the chains. What I'm saying.
It is.
Let me see. Music Lover saying, "Oh yeah, of course they're corrupt. Yeah, everything we're watching is corrupt and." Deception. Who's the greatest deceiver of them all? Yeah, he's here. He's running around. He's running the whole place. She says they explain that one as the gravity of the moon is less than that of Earth, and therefore less force is required to leave the moon. All right. Well, explain gravity, the theory of gravity too, right? It's wild. It is wild. Have you seen the up close pictures of that thing? Those old 70s lawn chairs? Those awesome ones with the webbing on it. It had different colors. I still have some of them laying around. That's one of my favorite ones I like to fish on. Well, that's what was on. There was 2 of those on that buggy, on that little buggy. Basically, what they did is took a VW frame, stripped it all off, put a bunch of stuff on there that kind of looked like, look, there's duct tape on some parts of it. There's a mouse running across one of them. It's wild, dude. When you start looking and going deep diving on some of these things, it's so funny because some of these, the space, what are they called? The astronauts, right? They call them astronauts, Outcast, because they think they went out there somewhere. And they get mad when confronted about certain specific things that we saw that were, would never make it on any kind of mainstream media talk. But maybe one specific little part of that machine that was there, maybe it's a fender or a bent fender, and then the guy on the with the he bounces over to a bent fender and he pulls it up very easily to straighten it back out because of rubbing the tire, things like that. Certain little things like that. Well, these astronauts get so mad when people bring this kind of little things up to them. Why was there a fly flying around? If you're in space and a fly landed on right behind you and it's walking around and then takes off flying again. How'd that happen? And how they get the little, come on now. Hey, are you ready to do some final thoughts?
I don't know if I'm ready or not.
I think you are muted or something. I don't hear your mic.
What? Check.
I don't hear your mic, brother.
That's weird.
No. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Do you want to leave that on, but do you want to call me? Listen. Yep, I hear that. I still don't hear you.
Check.
No, nobody can hear you, and you're not registering on here anymore. Listen, I'm going to call your phone. Why don't you call? Wait, you can hear him, Music Lover?
She says she
Go
can
ahead.
hear me. Check. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't hear you right now. I see your mouth moving.
He's loud and clear.
He sounds loud and clear here. All right, listen, let's do final thoughts, brother. We'll do this like we did before with hand signals. Go ahead and say it, and you let me know when you're done, and we'll close it out.
Okay, so I'm just going to read a little scripture. This is something that jumped out at me when I was reading Michael Heiser's book, The Unseen Realm. And I don't think I did this yet, but hopefully I didn't. But let's see here. Now we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. Meanwhile, we groan, longing to be clothed with our heavenly dwelling, because when we are clothed, we will not be found naked. For while we are in this tent, we groan and are burdened, because we do not wish to be unclothed, but to be clothed with our heavenly dwelling. Now, what's interesting here is Paul is talking about referring to the body as a tent. I think I already said this to you guys. I'm still dwelling on it. So if not, stick with me. But the tent, I've always relished in the idea that it was a temporary dwelling spot for our spirit body. And it's not a permanent home, because you live in a home and you don't live permanently in a tent. But Michael Heiser points out, man, I feel like I may have said this to you guys already, but Paul points out that the tabernacle that God resided in the Old Testament was a mobile tent setup, a structure that they moved from place to place when they were roaming the desert. And that tent was the dwelling place of God. What Paul is referring to here, calling our body the tent, is we are the dwelling place of the Lord. We are the tabernacle, a living tabernacle. Why I'm bringing this up, I was talking to a friend of mine who was struggling with, typical things that young guys struggle with, porn, drinking and smoking pot on occasion, different things and when I pointed that out to him, it was convicting, because he realized that he was abusing or disrespecting the tabernacle that he was given for God to dwell within. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Think about that. Ponder it. If you're struggling with any particular type of sin, we all have it, of course. Nobody's better than anybody else. I'm not trying to say I've conquered everything. I have not. I'm just trying to say, really consider the fact that your body is not just a temporary dwelling space for your Holy Spirit, for your spirit, but is also the inhabitants. It's where the Spirit of God, the tabernacle, where He lives within us. We are the temple. We are the church. So take that into consideration so you don't abuse it. Consider it when you're trying to conquer your sin. Give it up once and for all. If you can, walk away from it. As Jesus would say when he healed people, you are healed, go and sin no more. We have to think about it like that, but I'm going to add this extra Michael Heiser layer to it. You are the dwelling place of the Lord. If you've received the Holy Spirit, if you've accepted Jesus Christ, do not defile it. So those are my final thoughts for this week. I hope it has value for everybody. I know Jesse can't hear me, so I'm going to wave.
You all set, brother? All right. I still can't hear you, but apparently everybody else could hear you, and they can hear me. I don't know what's going on. It's going to really mess up the audio side of this. The live version, everybody's hearing you, but for some reason, I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to get this thing repaired on the other side. So I'll be up a little bit later than normal to get this thing out by tomorrow morning. So Taylor Smith says, amen, Outcast, for whatever you said. I appreciate it. We'll talk after the show because obviously I can't hear you, but I know what you're saying is what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, listen. I just want to thank our brand new subscriber today, Jacqueline Duviyoung, right? I said that correct. Jacqueline, thank you so much. And also, it was Taylor Smith for the Buy Me a Coffee today. So thank you so much for donating the show. It helps so much. Music Lover gave me clues. Yes. Where's the clues at? I don't know. That's all right. The clues are, it's all good is what I'm saying. So we're good. And let me get on over here, Outcast. Let's get over to one of our closing outro screens right here. So listen, you guys, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching the show tonight. We got into some deep things, Listen, don't be threatened by the mainstream media, the fear campaigns. Rescue those in darkness around you, and do not comply with unjust laws, mandates, or regulations. And trust your gut always, you guys. You know why? Because that's God talking to you. So trust your gut. That's what I'm saying. Just want to say a big thank you, and God bless, and stay dangerous, brothers and sisters. Stay dangerous. Come on back. We're going to see if we can do this again Thursday morning. God willing, we'll do it. If not, we'll see you next Monday night. We have Ed Mabry. Marbury or Mabry? It's Mabry. Talking about Nephilim, short season, and some very strange things that you guys might not have heard before. So